Nigel Cecil, equity as you like it.
Especially for my equitable friends. Hello to my equitable friends.
Cobblers to your equitable friends.
And cobblers to you too.
Equity UK, progressively promoting, protecting performers.
Hello, Chaka Badges. Nigel Cecil here once again. Thank you for joining me. And what did you think of that new style opening? A little bit of a dig there, especially aimed at those who don't particularly like Nigel's equitable friends, or even Nigel as an entertainment entrepreneur, giving my opinion. Now, of course, feel free to say what you want, and some do, don't they, Hilary? But why not have a little bit of fun back? Because many a true word is said in jest, as our friends at the Edinburgh Fringe will know. And we've been inundated, haven't we, Hilary, once again about the Edinburgh Fringe, because many comedian friends within my group of equitable friends have said, Nigel, what do you think about Jerry Sadowitz being cancelled, being barred? What's it all about? What does Equity think? Now, Equity, the trade union in the United Kingdom for actors, entertainers, variety artists and creatives, my equitable friends say, do you think they should say something about this? What are we talking about? What do you think of those captions? Over 18 warning. But it appears, amongst other things, Jerry was being told off and cancelled because apparently he'd shown his appendages. But nothing new there then. Because, you see, back in the, I think it was the, what time? Was it the 90s sometime? Yes, as an entertainment entrepreneur, I was an associate producer for a Channel 4 programme that was hosted by Malcolm Hardee. Now, Malcolm Hardee was the acclaimed, I think, the original anarchic of our generation, well, previous generation, really, comedian. I mean, he had the Tunnel Club in Greenwich, and all sorts of things happened. Time, place, and context. What Malcolm Hardee, as an innovative, in-your-face comedian did, time, place, context. What he did in the club didn't actually appear on Channel 4 on that particular series. Because, of course, your time and place and context was different. So, indeed, yes. Malcolm, along with the rest of his pals, did, what was it, the naked balloon dance on Chris Tarrant's TV show, OTT, so well before Jerry Sadowitz showed his appendages. I mean, dare he? Yes. So, of course, it brings us to the question, time, place and context, what's it all about? Because as an actor's known, it's really in your face what Jerry Sadowitz stands for. Hello. What did you think of those captions? And did you spot the little edit that Hilary had kindly done? Because when you tune into YouTube, and just the open YouTube, without any restrictions, should one take the risk of using a word that some might find offensive? So Hilary very kindly edited a certain word beginning with B, so it might be in your mind what it means, but it's not particularly offensive. And indeed, Jerry on that last caption has turned the event into sort of a joke. I mean, you have to capitalise on things that happen, don't you, Hilary? And I hope my equitable friends agree. But what's it to do with equity? Well, at the Edinburgh Fringe, they launched the Comedian's Charter. Now, the word Comedian's Charter implies it includes all comedians. And my equitable friends have said, Nigel, the Edinburgh Fringe is a little bit specific in that type of comedy club store circuit of comedians who appear there. And that charter doesn't appear to be relevant to those of us who work on cruise ships, on holiday camp centres, in hotels, care homes, social clubs, venues, bar entertainment. They don't seem to apply to us. Do you spot the last caption? As my equitable friends have said, listen, we go to gigs on our own. We don't do shows that go round. Any sorts of other people can be on the act that evening, a variety of acts. So the idea of saying we'll discuss car sharing with the promoter or the ticket sales and conditions. I mean, most venues, especially the entertainment bar clubs and things, well, the audience just drift in and out. So how relevant is it to the bulk of comedians within Equity, that comedian's charter? And Brian Logan of The Guardian, with his focus on has things gone too far, actually leads me to think about one important ingredient in all of this that some seem to have missed: the audience. Who, if anybody, went too far? The audience. No, not that the audience went too far, but did anybody forget the audience? You see, in conjunction with the comedian's charter, Equity, by the same group of members, have a comedian's contract. Now, have a look at this particular clause. My Chakrabarti friends, clearly the comedian's contract, which was drawn up under the same auspices apparently as the comedian's charter, clearly, demonstrably contains a clause that says, on the payment of the full fee, the artist cancelled, gone. But I mentioned the audience before. Where does that leave the audience? And indeed, where does it leave the artist if they try to communicate the reasons for? Because there's a clause that says neither the artist or the engager should get involved in publicity that's adverse for either of them. But the audience, let's come to the audience. You see, some of the audience will have booked a hotel and travelled to get there to see the show. And they turn up and it's cancelled. Now, is there no responsibility between the artist and the engager towards the audience? Now, my equitable friends are saying, yes, there should be. Yes, there should be. Now, I'm not a contractual person, really, in that respect. I don't know if that's included somewhere. But you see, when the comedian's charter was launched, the equity organiser involved said this: our members will also need the support of audiences to help us achieve this by making sure that they only attend comedy gigs that carry the comedian's charter mark once it is rolled out. Nigel Moir thinks it's fair to say that if the audience are going to be out of pocket in travel expenses and hotel bills, apart from disappointment because a show is just cancelled because of its content, then it's going to be very difficult for the proponents of the comedian's charter to persuade the audience only to go to shows that have got the approved mark. And indeed, can you imagine the pubs and social clubs and venues like that seeking to include an approved mark? It's all very aspirational, but is it going to happen? But you see, Equity's not come out and said anything. Maybe that's because, I know, somebody mentioned to Nigel in an email that apparently an almost identical thing happened on an Equity show where an artist was sent home because somebody didn't approve of what they'd said in a joke. Now, you'll need to check that within your Equity membership, won't they, Hilary? But if that's the case, you see, you then say, well, really, there should be some common ground on this. Now, the charter and the contract all mention in their own way disputes and what should happen. And there's one element that's mentioned in the comedian's contract, which Nigel, with my experience as an entertainment entrepreneur, actually acclaim. The V.L.E.C, the Variety and Light Entertainment Council. The V.L.E.C disputes procedure is mentioned in the comedian's contract. Now, the Variety Light Entertainment Council have expertise across the whole entertainment industry over many years. And it seems to me that given this particular issue has raised its head, that would be a very good body to say, let's all come together and analyse what's gone on and see if we can come up with some guidance, because they're the body to do it. I feel sure of that one. And indeed, it would address the questions that were put forward by Brian Logan of The Guardian. So there we are. So let's see what? Yes, Hillary. Yes, Hillary's with me talking about comedians. I have to look after Hillary because Hillary does help me, and Hillary likes the comedian Jeff Northcott. So I tell you what, Northcott, let's put up a little caption for Jeff, shall we, Hillary? Hillary asking me to say, pop along and see Jeff Northcott's tour, and time, place, context. And to finish off, the little story that sums it all up is the lady from somewhere in England, better not say where, went on a package holiday to Italy. And on returning, she complained to the tour operators. Why? She said, well, the holiday to Italy was very enjoyable, but you didn't warn me that there would be so many Italians there. They spoiled the holiday. Time, place and everything. I look forward to meeting you then soon. Keep your emails coming in. Thank you.
Nigel Cecil, Equity as you like it.